Hello, this is Jason with BDI, and today I'm going to show you how to use the Projects feature for STS-LIVE. In this video, I'm using STS-LIVE version 1.4. I've got STS-LIVE up and running, so to change projects, what I'm going to do is go to the project name field, and then under the project name I have Manage Projects. So if I click Manage Projects, it opens up a pop-up window. So right now I only have one project, and it's the default project called Bridge Test. So to create a new project, what I'll do is I'll click on the plus button, and I'll call this one Video Project. So I hit the green check, and that creates the new project. Just to give you a quick rundown of what the other options are in this window, I can copy a project. So if I were to click on Video Project and click this button, it would copy all the information into a new project, and you could rename it. So we'll call this one Copy. I'll hit the green check. We'll see that now there's another project that's identical to the video project, and it's called Copy. Now, say I didn't want to name that copy. I instead wanted to name it, let's say, Gate Test. I can rename it by clicking on it and rename that Gate Test. So now it didn't delete any of the information. It just renamed that to Gate Test. So if I have a project that I do not need anymore, I can delete it by clicking on it and clicking the trash can icon, and I'll ask if I really want to delete it. I click yes, and that's it. So that's how you can manage your projects, and you'll see how this can be useful after I show you in the ins and outs of projects and how they all work. So for now, we're going to close the Manage Projects window. And as you can see, that didn't actually switch the project that we're in. We're still in the default Bridge Test project. So in order to change the project, we're going to click the drop-down menu, and we'll see the new project that we just created, the video project, is there. Before I do click that, though, I just want to show you that I do have nodes checked in right now. So when I go back and change the project, it's going to tell me that the system's going to restart. I'm going to hit the green check. And if I go back to the Nodes tab, I'll see that all the nodes have checked out because the system is restarting now. So that's perfectly normal. We just have to wait for a second for the nodes to restart with the new settings for the video project. So within this project that I've just created, you can change the settings and documentation information, and they'll remain associated with just this project. So for this one, we can change the sample rate to 100 samples per second. We'll call this one Video. And the author is me. And we'll change the location to, Washington, D.C. So after I've updated my settings and documentation information, I click the green check, and that'll save all of this information to this specific project. So now that I've got this all updated, check and see if the nodes have reconnected, and it looks like they have. So I've got two nodes that are connected right now. I have one 16-channel terminal node, and I've got one 4-channel IntelliDucer node. Now projects are especially useful for terminal nodes, since terminal nodes don't have the ability to save the information about the sensor into the actual sensor itself as it does with IntelliDucer plugs. So with the IntelliDucer plugs, when you plug it in, it's automatically recognized, so you don't have to worry about going in and assigning different sensors to channels. It does it for you. But with the terminal nodes, we have to tell each channel what sensor is plugged into it. So the easiest thing to do is to make note of which sensor goes into each channel on the terminal node. Then when you come back to STS-LIVE, you can associate the channel with the correct sensor. So if I click on channel 1, I see that I'm actually, I haven't logged in yet, as indicated by the lock icon at the top here. So I'm going to go back to the settings tab, click on the lock, and log in with BDI, which is the default login. Then go back to the nodes tab, and click on the sensor, and now I can see that this is unlocked so I can edit it. So to associate sensor with the channel, I'm going to click on the sensor drop-down menu here, and I've got a couple sensors in my calibration file right now, and I've made a note that what I have plugged into channel 1 is the accelerometer A1125. So I'm going to find that on the list here. It's right here. I'm going to select that and hit the green check. So as soon as I hit the green check, I'll see that now the channel 1 on the terminal node has been associated with the sensor A1125. And because that was in my calibration file, it's able to bring in all the information and settings. So this channel is now set up and associated with this sensor A1125. So I've got a sensor plugged into channel 2. It's the accelerometer A1126. So I'm going to repeat that process. I'm going to select A1126 and hit the green check. Oops, I had clicked on the wrong one. So this is actually a good opportunity for me to show you how to remove a sensor from a channel. So if you were like me and accidentally clicked the wrong sensor, you can simply click on the channel again. And right above the add sensor is going to be the original channel name for the node. So I'm going to click that, click the green check, and we'll see that that goes back to the original channel. So it's the original channel is just an unknown type, and it's got the name of the node and what channel it is. So now I'll go back and select the correct sensor, which was A1126. I'll hit the green check. And now A1126 is associated with channel 2. So these two channels are both set up. They both have the calibration files were able to be brought in, and they are ready to run a test. So you do the same thing for the rest of the 16 channels. I'm not going to do that for this video. But what I am going to do is show you that this is the project called Video Project that I just created. And it has the sensors associated with it, A1125 and A1126 for this terminal node. I'm going to switch back to the default project and show you what happens. So to do that, I'll click on project name, just go to bridge test, and hit the green check. Now, as you notice, all the settings and documentation information have gone back to their defaults. So you can save, if you like, you can run in this bridge test the default and update these. But every time you change projects, all the information will be set back to its last state. So the last time you saved it in that project will be saved here. So that's the convenience of projects, is you get to save your information for each project. And when you have your nodes checked back in, you'll see that the associated sensor file for the terminal nodes will associate per project. So since for the original project, I didn't have anything associated with this channel 1 and channel 2, it's gone back to that state. So there's nothing associated with them. So I'm just going to add sensors real quick. These are strain gauges B2095 for channel 1. And B2107 for channel 2. Now both these are saved into this. Notice this is the same IntelliDucer, but for this project I have these two strain gauges associated with it. So they're both associated with it, so I can start a test over here. But what I'm going to do is switch back to the other project just to show you that the sensors stay associated with the project. So what that allows you to do is to have sensors set up on a structure, you know, a permanent or semi-permanent installation, and move a terminal node from location to location, and just be able to pull up that project, and it'll have all the sensors associated with that structure for that project. So you don't have to go back in and reprogram the terminal node every time you change locations. So we'll just give this one a second to check back in. So the nodes have checked back in, and as you can see, the sensors that were associated with channel 1 and 2 have switched back to the accels for my video project. So just to recap, you can associate each channel of the terminal nodes with sensors for a project, and then switch projects and associate those same channels with a different set of sensors, and they will stay associated with that particular project. So you can move a terminal node from location to location and be able to pull up individual groups of sensors depending on where you're plugging that terminal node at on the structure by switching the projects. One last thing, if you're using your own gauge for terminal nodes, you can always create a gauge. So you do the same process for adding a sensor, except for you would go down to Add Sensor at the very bottom. You would enter in the name of your sensor, click the green check, and then I have a video that shows how to go through and set up the specific details for your own sensor if you're to have a custom sensor or one that you built yourself. So just for now, we'll save this and we'll call this one a rotation sensor. So I just clicked R for rotation and I'll hit the green check. And now my sensor, it loads these default values. These default values might not necessarily work for all rotation sensors, but this is just something to start from. And like I said, check out my video about custom instrumentation and custom gauges for setting up all your settings for custom gauges. And that's it for the project's instructional video.